designed ELISA initially to solve this problem of how could we improve the sound quality for large-scale concerts. A stereo layout is okay at home because you can be, at a reasonable distance from the left and the right speaker. As soon as you scale this up to arena size or performing arts centers, stereo doesn't work that well anymore because you're always next to a close speaker and the other speaker is just disturbing you. So we really wanted to solve that issue for concert sound. It was a slow acceptance rate to the market because obviously we had to change the practices of rigging and the production processes. So we had some early adopters that helped a lot kickstart the acceptance of the technology. But a lot of other use cases have emerged, and we've seen use cases flourish like theme parks or museums, sound installation. So now the problem is not really to convince a production that immersive audio is interesting. I think it's here to stay, and what we could just see now is how can we facilitate the access to the technology for the ones who create. And that was really a question of, workflow and make sure the spatial audio aspect can be taken into account as early as possible in a production process. Otherwise, if it comes as an afterthought, if it's really late in the game, if you think, oh, I've done my stage design and my project design and, oh, in the end, maybe I could do a quick of polish and add some 3D audio, but it doesn't work this way. Really, to make it powerful and convincing, I think you really need to take it into account in the early designs, and that's what makes all the difference in projects. The initial vision of ELISA was really a hardware solution with the product that we developed called the ELISA processor that is really optimized for massive input counts, as low latency as possible to make it usable in a live production, reliable as well with redundancy and all these complex scenarios of fallbacks, etc. So we kept the same core, the same audio engine, and we thought about how could we make this processing available in a different form factor and a different format. Because the problem we see is that not everyone has access to a hardware processor, and not everyone has access to a speaker system, for example. So the question is really, how can we make sure that anyone at an airport or in a tour bus or in a home studio could mix in 3D audio, even if they have only maybe a laptop and a pair of headphones. It led us to redesign really the whole product from the ground up. So we have rewritten completely the code in the processor to make sure we could target different platforms, a laptop, a hardware processor. It's exactly the same audio engine that works. We worked also in developing solutions to emulate speaker systems on headphones. So we worked a lot on the aspects of binaural technology. And by combining a new code base and a binaural engine, we managed to design a fully software-based solution called ELISA Studio. And ELISA Studio is a simple combination of the usual ELISA controller that sound engineers know today. That's really the control software where you place your sound objects in space, you define your speaker layout for your project. And the second part of ELISA Studio is a virtual processor called the processor desktop. And that's exactly the same audio engine that would run in a hardware processor, except that it's optimized for desktop. So it has a much lower output count, so it's not too CPU hungry. We realized that it was actually a great combination to have Contour XOs as a reference monitor system and ELISA Studio. So if you combine the two, you can really benefit from the L-Acoustics sound signature on headphones and also have the portability of ELISA Studio. So it means that with a very portable system, a laptop and a pair of contours, you can really get a good impression of what you will find later on in a venue with an L-Acoustics system.